Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome, everyone. We've got episode 397 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing, recorded from right here in good old South Dakota. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
This is 397. It's a banger of an episode. They only get better and better as we crescendo to episode 400 coming soon.
Exponentially better, you could say.
Exponentially better. Each episode gets exponentially better than the last. So, 2 to the power of 397 is probably
it's like a million.
No, yeah, it's like a million, 1 million. 1 million. That's at least, right?
Roughly in there, yes.
Yeah, roughly a million. This episode, this is also a sack segment here, right? Ad read / sack segment. 2-in-1 segment alert.
Jeez.
2-in-1 segment alert.
Coming out of the gate firing.
Yeah, this episode is brought to you, speaking of South Dakota, by our good friends over at Build Fast Formula. And Tommy, they sent us, you haven't seen this yet, so this will be new. They sent us some of their new goods. First one that I've got here is their Full Blitz, the fully loaded pre-workout formula. So check that out. I think that this one, am I right? Is this one almost like a combination of their Vaso Blitz and their other, where it's got the Vaso Blitz ingredients plus the other like pre-workout ingredients. Yeah. So check out Full Blitz. Haven't tried it yet. On tapped, unopened.
What flavor?
Oh, great question.
I thought I saw something online in regards to that. I don't want to spoil it though.
This is Power Up Peach.
Yeah. Okay.
Power Up Peach. That's intriguing. I like the sounds of that flavor. And then we've got a couple other things here. One is Glyco Hack, which I do not know that much about, to be honest, because the reason I don't know that much about it, because it wasn't until right now. I thought these two bottles were both the same.
Oh.
And I thought they were both this other product that I'm going to tell you about. And just now I realized one is Glyco Hack. It says never carb load without it, advanced glucose delivery. I do not know that much about it, so I'm not going to sales pitch you on Glyco Hack. What I'm more interested in, at least as of today, because I understand it better, is Drink Hack.
Oh.
That we've got right here. Drink Hack, never drink without it. I'm not going to attempt to spell this word, but it supports the elimination of the most harmful byproduct of alcohol consumption. And what you do is you take one capsule within an hour before your first drink, and then you take
Isn't
another
the most
capsule.
harmful byproduct of alcohol consumption just regret and despair?
Yeah, I don't know what they're saying. They're saying it's this chemical, I think, but I've had some other pretty harmful byproducts that have come from that, to be fair.
Well, anything helps there, right?
Yeah. Yes. And then you take one capsule within an hour after your last drink. So what I was thinking about this is I'll leave this untapped, and then I'll bring this to the Crew Falls December to Remember and pass it around. The whole crew can give Drink Hack a try together, and we can all report back.
Are those capsules? Is that what they are?
Yeah, they're capsules. Okay. I think there's, I don't know, why do I think there's 60 in here?
Everyone will say, man, all those guys are putting capsules in each other's drinks. What's going on over there?
Vic, don't worry about it. You don't worry about that. So we'll test out Drink Hack for anyone that wants to. I'll bring it, if I can remember, I'll bring it to the Crew Falls December to Remember event coming December 9th.
Right around the corner. The countdown's on. Less than 1 month out.
So check out Build Fast Formula. Use discount code Massenomics. That'll save you 10% off your initial order with them, or not your initial order, but whenever you use that discount code for the first time, you get 10% off. Also, if you sign up for a subscription service on anything, you get an extra 10% off. BuildFastFormula.com.
And special announcement, Tanner. This episode's also brought to you by Bearfoot Shoe and the Massenomics collaboration that is shipping now. People have officially started getting the product is arriving in people's hands. I've started seeing photos going online, which is, I'm jealous. I'm still waiting for mine. Mine should be here any day, but people are getting the shoe. And what is the Massenomics, you ask? It is a genetic splicing of suede and canvas, something never before thought possible in the lifting world. It combines the strength and durability and comfort of suede leather with lightweight and breathable canvas for a shoe that sits at the top of the food chain. Its wide, flat physique offers a stable podium for your powerful paws, while its flexible nature promotes a gait as natural as a bear prowling western, northeast, South Dakota. Whether you're establishing dominance in the squat rack or your favorite watering hole, this sneaker lets everyone know you lift hard and live easy. Now, here is maybe the most important part of this entire announcement, and that is that they are down to less than 50 pairs, which means if you're listening and you want one, there's a good chance your size is down to 1, maybe 2, or possibly even out of stock. So do not wait. Make sure you go to www.barefoot.store and get your Massenomics today. And while you're there, we're going to make the deal a little sweeter. Go grab some of their awesome wraps, add them to your cart, and use code MASS when you're checking out, and you will get the awesome wraps for free with your pair of Massenomics. Thank you, Bearfoot Shoes.
That is awesome.
Awesome.
Those have started to ship out. Seeing people get that. I think today is the first day of deliveries. So if you have ordered and not gotten yours yet, I bet you will be seeing them very soon. Very, very soon. Kind of a couple good ads to kick off this episode.
I always like it when ads are timely and relevant.
Right. We had a lot of good stuff. Speaking of timely and relevant, are we going to do our Mr. Olympia recap for this year?
Okay. You know what? This is the first time I've thought that we're doing this segment, so that's actually perfect for us. I did not prepare one bit.
I was just kind of Googled the results right now. First of all, before looking, do you have any idea who won?
I did see this, and I do not remember because it was a name I wasn't super familiar with. I'm trying to find it.
I've got it right here.
Okay, yeah.
Derek Lunsford.
I don't know if I've actually ever even heard of him, to be honest.
I feel like I've heard the name. Second place was Hattie Chupon.
And I've heard of him.
Yeah. So we're in it right now. We're doing the thing. So
we're just living
a test.
the
We're doing
life.
the thing. And I guess for anyone that's new to the show, a lot of people tune in each year to get our Mr. Olympia recap. It is has been a very
known
fun
for
recurring
this
segment. Yes. Where I think every year for the last many years we have recapped the Olympia. It's the one bit of bodybuilding we talk every year.
It's kind of a cornerstone piece of our show here.
Yeah, so anyone else of note? Brandon Curry, I know that name. He got 4th. Let's see. Regan Grimes. Who is that? I know that name. He got 9th. That is it. Some people got DNF. One person did not finish.
Really?
How do you do that?
I didn't know that was a thing in bodybuilding.
I did not know. So in the 212 winner was Keone Pearson. Never heard of him. I'm scanning the list to see if I've ever heard of anyone.
I believe
the answer is no.
Was it Mr. Bumstead?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the thing. Chris Bumstead won the classic physique.
Mm-hmm. Which that's like his fourth or fifth year in a row, something doing that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's maybe like 5. I'm looking to see if anything else stands out. Miss Olympia, Andrea Shaw.
Brian's wife, of course.
Yes, Brian's wife, yes.
Derek Lunsford walked away with a cool $400K for his.
That's what I was looking for. How much he won? So $400,000.
Second place, $150. Third place, $100K. Fourth, $40,000. Fifth, $35,000.
Does it say what Bumstead gets for winning classic physique?
That's a good question. Let's see right here. I got another one. And the other one was actually the exact same thing.
Okay. the most interesting part about the Olympia to me is the prize money that these people get.
It's still shocking that there's that much money to be had. But,
So the winner got $400,000.
but let's be real. We know this is, we're bodybuilding guys. This is like the Super
Yeah.
Bowl of bodybuilding. So I guess
Right.
they have all the money to go at this one. I'm curious what are the biggest payouts in bodybuilding? The Arnold, and there's probably one other something somewhere, isn't there?
Yeah, I would think that those are the two biggest ones.
LA Fit
probably.
Expo or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
But isn't that coming up pretty soon here? So maybe that's not a big payout if it's right after the Olympia.
Right. But if they gave out over $500,000 just to like the first couple winners of the one class,
Yeah.
they must have like several million in prize money that goes out for this. Wouldn't there be? Because I just scrolled through and there's like 30 different things, and each one has a list of,
Yeah,
10
you would
people.
think. It said
I would assume.
this sportingnews.com says where'd it go? Too many. Okay. Sportingnews.com. Men's Classic Physique Olympia. Chris Bumstead prize money $50,000. It says.
Oh, wow.
So
That's really shaved off from.
all these other ones. Mr. Olympia is 400. All these other ones 212. Miss Olympia, Men's Physique. All of those first place is $50,000.
Wow, what a discrepancy.
Well, they call it
It's
Mr.
the
Olympia.
pay gap.
They call it
It's
Mr.
the
Olympia,
pay
not
gap.
Mr. Men's Physique Olympia.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. 8 times more to win. Win the main one. than
And also
anything
the
else.
payouts. So all those other ones, the payouts go 50,000, 20,000, 10, 6, 4. They drop down in a
Okay.
hurry.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, it's still overall, it's a lot of money because
Yeah.
for any strongman show to give away 50,000 to the winner is a huge strongman show.
What's the Arnold giveaway? Don't they give away 50, 60 grand to the winner?
Yeah, it's like that much. And the Rogue had a big payday, like it was like 60, 70. But that's what I'm saying. Like their smaller ones here, that's still like a good strongman show payout. That's a 400,000 is a lot though. That's almost enough to like make you make you think, maybe all the drugs and stuff are worth it.
Maybe I should put myself through this another year.
Well, they could start. Realistically, they could start to justify it like that, and then I suppose with winning the actual Olympia title comes a lot of other money, or some other money too.
Oh, it's got to at that point.
So if it's a $500,000 locked payday, that's that's enough to make people consider what it takes to get to that point.
to consider shortening your life and
right.
Yeah.
And then although there's all of them that are not winning that much money,
but they're so close. They're right there.
Yeah. So is that it on our Olympia coverage?
I think so. That was pretty extensive, wasn't it?
It wasn't in Vegas, right? Was it in Florida this year?
Oh, I think you're right. I forgot about that
or?
part of it. Yeah, I believe, was Mike telling us that?
Was there a rhino cage thing with like a bunch of people lifting? Wasn't that a thing last year?
Oh, was that is that at the Olympia they're doing that? Or is that at the
I
LA
think
Fit
so.
Expo? I can never keep straight when they do that.
I think that was at the Olympia last year.
Okay.
Because he's from Vegas, so it was.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that it was in Vegas last year.
Yeah.
But I didn't see anything about anyone doing anything.
I didn't either. The cage, often imitated, never duplicated, right?
That's true. Mr. Olympia, stay tuned next year to get up more
Only 360 some days until we do our next recap.
Yeah. I don't know nicknames for any of those guys. Like my favorite part about bodybuilding is the nicknames.
That is actually a great thing. Let's do.
What's the guy that won? Does he have a good nickname? I judge a bodybuilder most on their nickname rather than any other criteria.
Okay. So Hattie Chupon is the Persian Wolf.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Not the snappiest nickname, but it does sound tough.
Yeah.
And then who do we have? Derek. What was
Lunsford or something like that?
Derek Lunsford. He's got to have a nickname. Let's see here.
I don't think you be Mr. Olympia and not have a.
I
The
know.
best bodybuilding nicknames are like the and then a 1-syllable word.
Yes.
The.
Gift.
The
The shadow. The
blade.
blade. Yes.
Yeah. Who's the gift? Is that
Phil Heath is the gift.
Okay, and Dexter Jackson is
It's the blade. It is the
was the blade.
blade.
Okay, because those are kind of my few favorites.
Yeah. I don't see a nickname for him. He's got to have one, but I even Googled Derek Lunsford nickname, and I'm not finding anything.
Okay, well, I think he just earned it. He earned himself $400,000 and a good bodybuilder nickname. Does anything stick out to you when you see him, like of a nickname that would make sense for him?
The dude. Just the dude, Derek the dude Lunsford.
He looks pretty big. I'll
He
give him
is.
that.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, Big Derek. They don't call him Big Derek Lunsford for no reason. I guess that's his nickname,
Derek
Big
the
Derek Lunsford.
big.
Yeah. Speaking of what's back in the segments, have you ever seen that Zahir's kind of back into lifting?
I have
heavy
noticed
again?
that. He has had some clips popping up here and there.
Yeah. He did like an 805 deadlift double that I just saw from him here.
Some guys are just strong, aren't they?
Guess how many followers Zahir has on Instagram?
Okay, he's got to have he's got to have a lot because he got into Instagram. He was early lifting Instagram on top of being one of the strongest guys in the world at the time. So, I don't know, does he have 500,000?
It says 1 million.
Really? Wow.
Could that be right?
I thought maybe I was shooting high with 500,000, but
That's
1 million. That's impressive.
Yeah. That's what it says. 1 million, because I just noticed it when I was looking it up today.
He is
1
just,
million.
But he was in at a different era. You know, he was in
Yeah.
there at what, 2013-ish,
Yep.
posting videos. It's
Yeah.
2014, whenever Instagram first started letting you post videos and do stuff like that. He was the guy.
If she does not remember Zahir, then she is too young for you, bro.
Too young.
I don't know what he's doing, but it's good to see.
Yeah, nice to know he's still moving weight. I had a fun little follow-up to, what was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago? We were giving our very in-depth critical analysis of Nike getting into the strength training game.
Yes.
Actually,
And it was pretty fresh when they were.
Yes, very fresh.
Fresh news.
Maybe less than 24 hours old. A couple of things about that now that I think back on it. We had made the comment that plates are equipment that's made in America you pay a premium for, and that's something that people look for, which I stand by. You do pay a premium for it. People do look for it, but we got a lot of comments of, well, what about made in Europe? What about made in Canada?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Just because made in America is a premium doesn't mean the other ones can't be. The other ones
right,
are
right.
still Canada, Europe, wherever it's at.
Right.
People still do like that. Really, the point I was trying to get across was that made in China, when it comes to equipment, typically is thought of as the lowest tier in that
Right.
product line.
Yeah, like a Lico being, Sweden made isn't not. That's not the
or
comment,
ER
that's
Racks or
Right, right.
wherever your favorite company is that's not in China. Yeah, they probably make really good stuff, and you probably do pay a premium for it too, over
Right.
stuff that's made in China. That was kind of the point we're trying to make there. But one thing that was very interesting here. So you posted a clip of us talking about our what was it, a reel? You posted a reel of us just
Yeah.
making
something
some
about
comments about almost what we just said. Just, hey, Nike's getting into this. Never underestimate them. They have unlimited money. The one thing to watch, though, is they don't make their equipment's clearly not made in America. It's probably made in
Right.
China because they're not leading with that in any way. And that's kind of how Nike is. So what is funny about this is Nike is a company based out of Portland, Oregon. And I have a good friend that lives in Portland that's in the design world. And he also have lots of friends that are in the design world in Portland. And that means some of them work for Nike. And so he messaged me and said, hey, one of my good friends is helping launch the line for this
Nike
right now.
Strength.
Yeah. He's like, they're running the whole marketing campaign. And then I actually want to pull it up. He goes, I sent it to my friend right now. Actually, I sent him this clip.
Yeah.
Which
Of us talking about
of
it.
us
Yeah.
talking about it. And I want to get the text right
You don't
here.
want to bastardize the.
Yeah. So it was sent their friend the clip of us. It says, my buddy Tommy is doing marketing for you. LOL. And then my friend also said his friend is opposed to Nike, however, which I'm not sure we made a strong stance there.
Yeah.
And then the friend goes, the one that works at Nike, haha, yeah, just watch this. And it wasn't great for us.
Like he's saying he didn't yeah.
Our shit is
'Cause I think
awesome. Our shit is awesome. So people can talk shit all they want until they try it.
Yeah. I think Nike stuff in a lot of areas could probably say that that's true. Their stuff is awesome, but I still would, I would argue that no, if you're deep into the strength world, like no, their stuff is, you'd be hard pressed to find. You definitely find people that say, oh, it's good enough. And if the price is right,
And I'm sure it's not shitty.
No,
they're a huge company, so they have
Right.
quality control, hopefully in check, and they know to a certain extent what they're doing,
But as far as like power lifters, people like that, they're not going to be like, this stuff is awesome. They're going to be like, that bar's fine, but it's not even made for what we do. And like,
yeah. General fitness, I'm sure it's more than good enough, which actually pretty much anything is more than good enough. But yeah, once you start getting into the higher levels, bigger weights, that's when you start pushing it. So
it's also not what they care about. Like,
that's not what they're going after. But I did think it was funny that we had that little piece, and we did have an insider at Nike had offer some critique as to our approach on it. Do you have a can over there?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Waterloo, huh?
Yeah, I've got a Waterloo Black Cherry.
I'm still working through my pamplemousses over here.
Well, that's never a problem. That's never a bad thing. Ooh,
no, it's not.
Pops. Oh, that is tasty.
Waterloo Cherry's got it going on.
Yeah, that is a tasty sparkling water.
It's been a while since I had one, but I do have fond memories of that.
Damn, I could drink that can real good. I could drink the shit out of that can, and I will. Don't mind if I do.
Tanner, I'm going to say a saying. I want you to finish this for me, okay?
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Nip it in the...
Bud.
What is it? What is it?
Nip it in the bud. I guess I say with a D, maybe is what I think.
Is that what it is?
Nip it in the bud.
Is that what it is?
I don't know what it is. I actually don't even, if I would say that, I would probably say it unclearly so that it can't be defined of what I'm saying. I would question it. Whatever I would say in that scenario, I would question if I'm pronouncing it, or if I'm not pronouncing it, if I'm using, I would say, I think people say nip it in the butt, but I guess I think it's bud. I think it's bud, but have zero confidence in that.
So
I think it's bud.
This is one of those things that you find out you've been saying it wrong your whole life. I say nip it in the butt. Nip it in the butt is not the saying. The saying is nip it in the bud. Was not aware of this at all. And then I thought I was just a big idiot and didn't need to bring it up. And then I asked my wife and I said, did the same thing, finish this saying. And she goes, butt. And I go, no, it's bud. She goes, no, you're wrong. And then I looked it up, and it's a commonly misunderstood phrase.
Say but. Yeah. People say but.
I feel like I've heard it that way so many times, and I have to give credit to Nathan Green on Instagram. He DM'd me, and he said, did you say nip it in the butt? And I said, haha, I might have. And he corrected me. It's nip it in the bud. Had no idea that is what that saying was.
What does
my whole
that
life.
mean?
Like, I believe the saying is, or where it comes from is, gardening. You know, if you want something to stop, you nip the bud to make it stop.
Right.
Which makes sense, but also, I don't know, nip it in the butt seems better to me.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you weren't totally clear on it either. That makes me feel slightly better.
Yeah, I wasn't clear on it either. I guess what I thought is it is bud, but I would say that and be like, I have no confidence that I use that correctly.
So it's
but I know there's no, I definitely knew there was like a non-clarity between those two.
Mm-hmm.
But I certainly have said it before.
Apparently I said it in the last episode, so.
Yeah. Definitely have nipped it in the bud before. I guess we finally nipped that one in the bud, didn't we?
We certainly did. That's been nipped.
I will probably not forget that now after just this brief conversation that's what that's supposed to be.
Yep, I got that. I'll probably say it wrong, but I'll think about it the correct way for the rest of my life now.
Yeah. One other thing on Nike, I have been wearing my Nike shoes.
Oh yeah, I actually wanted an update on Noon Ball, and then also to know how the shoes are.
The shoes are good, although I did play Noon Ball twice this week, and one of the times I played way too long, so I did get blisters.
Yeah.
But that would have probably happened with any pair of shoes for as long as I played that day. To be fair,
you played for 6 straight hours that day, right?
No, it was like almost 2 though.
Oh, really?
And that is a
That's
really
a lot of
long
basketball.
time. Yeah. It was probably an hour and a half. But for me, that is a long time to play.
So do you feel like you're getting more comfortable on the court? Like you can actually survive that long now?
I not conditioning wise, I really still no, I'm not. I'm getting more comfortable in the sense I'm getting better, like in knocking some rust off. Like I'm doing, like actually, it's funny. You do something and you actually get a little bit better at it.
But as far as conditioning, are you getting in better shape, or is it you're just smarter about how to expend your energy?
That's what I was actually thinking when you said that. I'm not getting in better shape, I don't think.
Because it'd be kind of weird if cardiovascular you got better in like a week or 2, right?
Right. No, so I don't think that that's better at all. But
it's those newbie gains. You're just smarter with how to do it. Your technique's getting better.
Yes, I'm smarter about when to conserve the energy a little bit. So yeah, I have been. It's also another great thing is, you go to the gym, like a gym like Massenomics gym. It's hard to be the big guy because everyone there is the big, strong guy. Mm-hmm. When I go play Noon Ball basketball, everyone makes comments about how big I am. Yeah, I'm like, I'm a big guy.
My reputation precedes me.
Yes, I go to the gym. I'm like one of 30 guys that all look exactly like this, And when I go to the basketball court, it was fun. Someone did the classic thing of asking me how much I bench, even, and I'm like, God, I haven't been somewhere, and someone like asked me how much I bench in a while.
It's been so long. Thank you. Sit down. How much time you got?
I was like, and then his follow-up question. I got to give him props though. His initial question, how much you bench. His follow-up question.
Okay, how did you answer it? Did you say all-time number?
All time. Yeah. I am always going all time. For someone that I know doesn't lift, I'm just saying all time. This is actually an interesting discussion. What people do here.
Because I have a way of answering this too. So I'm curious how you
if a power lifter is at like someone I run into someone and there are a power lifter, I would probably answer it. This is what I would honestly say. I'd say, well, the best I ever did in the gym was 475. The best I did in competition was like 455. And the way things are going, I can't do any of those right now. I'd be lucky to. I might be able to do 400 for a pause rep. That'd be the answer I would give someone that I know gets it.
If someone, it's happened very rarely. It's only happened a few times since I've lived here, but a couple people have asked me that when they see me squatting or something, like, "Oh, how much do you squat, man?"
Yeah,
and I say, well, my best ever is this.
Yes.
And then I usually follow it up with, and I'm not in that ballpark right now.
Right. So I do say that a lot, but like someone like this, that there's where I probably could say 300, 400, 500, or 600, and it doesn't even make a difference. I just say my best ever and leave it at that. Not in an attempt to sound cool, but just to simplify as much as anything. Like, I don't want to say these 5 sentences. They don't care about that even. They don't care. But his follow-up question was, well, how much do you squat?
Oh.
And I was like, that's
not the standard follow-up question.
Yeah. And then I hit him with my best. And then I did say, but it is like my primary I'm not like, I did then say, but it is, because he was kind of like, what, like, whoa, like he knew enough to know that it was like larger than average numbers or whatever. And I'm like, but that is kind of what I do.
This didn't happen on accident.
Right. But it's real good to get recognized. I'm sick of being like a very average fish.
Just one of the guys.
It's finally I go somewhere where I can actually be less big and get recognized for being bigger than when I was bigger.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
That's a win. That's a win all day.
Because a bunch of the basketball players are really skinny.
Yeah.
So it's great to get around them, and then everyone thinks I'm really strong too. Like we play and stuff, and like,
It's like,
no one wants to
don't even want to go up against him.
I'm sick of this guy boxing me out and like pushing me and stuff like that. And or if it was like a group of the guys from the gym all playing, it'd be like, this sucks. Everyone,
yes. Everyone sucks at basketball and is way too physical. What's going on here?
Yeah. That's my update there. The shoes, good though. Good. I'm pretty happy
slowly
about the
breaking
shoes.
them in.
Although, here's an interesting flip way to look at it. I go to the basketball court, and people comment, tell me that I'm big or something like that, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's great. But nobody comments on my shoes there.
Oh yeah.
Nobody comments on my new shoes. But if I wore those to the gym, nobody would tell me I look big, but everyone would be like, "Hey, what are those?
You got turning some heads
lately?"
there.
Yeah.
First of all, they'd say, Tanner, you don't have your normal shoes on. What's going on right now?
Yes, you look funny. So nobody, when I play pickup ball, I was like, oh, maybe someone will ask me about my new shoes today.
Yeah, I thought at least you'd get a call out for having some throwback shoes on, but.
Well, a lot of the people are wearing Jordans and stuff like that.
But that's that's the go-to though. That's the normal one. You know, you went like a step deeper. You had a slightly deeper cut than everyone else.
Oh, I don't think I said this on the podcast, which did give me a laugh out loud. As stop me if I said this last week. I think it happened in between last week and this week though. But I had Jack plays basketball and gets basketball shoes and stuff like that. So he likes basketball shoes. And I told him I was getting a pair and he was excited about that. And he likes them. He thinks they're cool. But when I was gone, then he told Mary, my wife, he said, sometimes I think Dad has a hard time getting out of the 90s. And I was like, that is very true.
That is very funny. But also at the same time, objectively, basketball shoes kind of suck now from a style standpoint. That's
for sure.
It's pretty objective. No
They're
one.
all the same to me.
No one bought. Look at today.
Right.
What basketball shoes do people buy from a style standpoint? They buy shoes from the 90s and early 2000s.
Right.
No one buys modern day basketball shoes to wear because you know
style,
what? Because they're made of just like. I mean, they all look like some futuristic spaceship thing.
They buy them to play basketball.
Yeah, they buy them to play basketball. No one.
Yeah.
It's so rare for a basketball shoes nowadays to be something of a style piece. That's just not a thing.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Also, it's true. I do have a really hard time getting out of the 90s sometimes. So that is also a fair. I said, yeah, that's actually really good observation.
The dream of the 90s is alive in Tanner's head.
Yes. Should we do supporting our supporting members?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, this week, this is a segment we do each week, a relatively new segment of the podcast. It's where we have these Massenomics supporting members. They choose to support us, our podcast, everything we do by logging onto our site, going to massenomics.com/join. That's where they sign up. You can sign up there too. It's several different levels of contribution that you can make there, and we'd appreciate any of them. They get several things in return, like discount code, getting access to our Discord. That's the only way you get in our Discord. They're going to be getting access, early access to signing up for our 2024 Lift Hard, Live Easy powerlifting meet. Whole bunch of stuff, and then including possibly getting featured on supporting our supporting members, like this week's crew. A bunch of people doing the Garage Gym competition.
Yeah, I've seen that.
These are the name. I didn't write down numbers. I just wrote down names on this, and I probably missed a bunch, but the following, at least, well done on Garage Gym competition submissions. Dodzilla, Jen, Moto, David, one of, Jake, Kevin, John, Keith, Joey, Big Pizza, Steve, Mabel, Daminger, Paul, Scance, and Jake. That's who I caught on that.
That's good stuff. That's a lot.
Several others, I'm sure. Big Moto. He won the Bearfoot Shoes giveaway. I think he got like $150 gift card.
Nice.
Hope he bought a pair of Massenomics shoes with that. Big Andrew Montoya did his first Olympic lifting competition. I lost his numbers on that, but I know his clean and jerk was over 400 pounds.
Yeah.
And his snatch was like close to 300.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a great snatch.
It's great stuff.
Montoya does. And then Big Tommy S., one of the members of the Minnesota Department of Lifter Safety, also competed at the Olympia in a powerlifting USAPL powerlifting meet. He had a
Did he win $400,000?
I think.
Okay.
It might have just been 50 though. I don't know.
Well, either way, it's okay.
He did have a 617-pound squat.
Nice.
Which is very big. 380 bench and a 677 deadlift for a 1674 total.
Damn.
That's why the spotters and loaders at Massenomics meet are so good. They're
So
strong as
good
shit.
hands.
And then this week, last but not least, on unpaid and underrated was Big Jake. So check him out. This is a good episode on unpaid and underrated.
Tanner, our guest has arrived.
Should we get her on or kick people off?
Yeah, I'm
and get
booting
her
people
on,
right now.
Okay. So do I read an ad while you do that?
Oh,
or do
you
we just
could
get
if you want to
into
make
the
it a
guests?
quick one.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do a quick little ad. I'm actually going to hit you with something I haven't done for a little while here.
This is the Strength Company. We've set out to build a better barbell plate on American soil. We ended up here at Wisconsin's legendary Wapaka Foundry. With over 60 years of ironworking experience, the foundry had the knowledge, technology, and processes to build our weights to our exact specifications. The Strength Company plates are slim but rugged, smooth but easy to grip, and electro-coated for durability and to look great in your gym. This is the next generation of American iron. Only available from the Strength Company.
Yeah. All right. We ready for our guest?
Let's do it. Yeah. So you are Big Stacy, you know, right? Everyone here is big, so you're Big Stacy.
Clearly, yep. Big Stacy's in the house, so I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. We're excited to get you on. It's probably been a long time coming that we get you on here, and we did a little thing the other day asking who we should get on, and several people said you, and we said, yeah, that's a really good idea. We should, and we were able to make it happen really, really quick. So that's cool.
Yeah, you guys said today, and I was like, honestly, the longer I put it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, let's go ahead and do it while it's fresh. So
yeah, cool. I was trying to think, like, the first time we crossed paths with you or met you anywhere, I think was at the Arnold at the Live Large booth, and I don't know what year it would be, Tommy. I don't know if you got a guess, but I would say like 2017 maybe, but I
don't what was the first year we went? Do you remember, Tanner?
16 or 17. What years?
It was one of those
when
two
was like
then.
the first? Yeah, when have you gone? What was the first years you were going there? When were you at the
I
Live
think
Large?
it was, it was either, I'm pretty sure it was 17. I think you were right. So it was either 16 or 17. I'm pretty sure it was 17. And that's the first time I remember meeting you guys too. So I think that was my first year at the Arnold. So
Okay.
full experience, right?
Yeah, so that was 6 years ago.
Which is kind of wild to think about. That is a while.
I'm so old now. Like I like the time change and stuff, and I actually feel it. I'm like, wait, yeah, we're old now. So
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I totally tell a difference on the time changes. All that stuff screws me up. Yeah. There's pros and cons to getting old for sure.
it's better than the other alternative, I guess, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Mostly.
So 2017, I don't think you lifted in the cage that year, but you eventually lifted in the cage at the Arnold.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was that year. I don't know. You know better than me, but
do I though? I think
Yeah.
I competed at the Arnold at the XPC in 2019, and I did the cage the following day right after I competed. So that was 2019.
so you competed competed and then lifted in the cage, and that was the last year that we've had the animal cage at the Arnold then. So you kind of
Shut it down.
yeah, you
Okay.
kind of shut it down.
I mean, they put me in there and they said, okay, I've had enough. That's good for now.
Like,
So.
there's nothing left for us to do here any better than this. We're canceling this for like the next 5 years.
But honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. That was like one of my dreams, right? Was to lift
Yeah.
an animal cage. I've never talked about this before, but like I knew I was competing at the XPC, and then they sent me a message about lifting the cage, and I was like, oh my God, this is so stupid, right? Like, why would I do a full meet and then like get in the cage? But I was like, why not, right? I was like, unless I die or something, I was like, absolutely, because that was something I always wanted to do. So for that to be like the last year they did it, unless like I've heard that there might be some talk of it coming back, but
No, I think that's official now. It is back this year.
Okay, sick.
Yeah, it is. It will be back for the first time this year. So that'll be it'll be. I'm excited to see. We actually talked about it. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's been like 5 years, and talking about like who might be in there and lifting and stuff. And 5 years isn't a super long time, but like it's to say in the case of powerlifting, there's not that many lifters that in 2017, 18, 19 you would have had featured in there that maybe you would still have featured in there in 2023. You know, there's not that many that are like at that level over that long a period of time.
I mean, you think about it, like 5 years is like a whole turnaround time, right? Like, I mean, 5 years is almost like now a career in powerlifting, right?
Well,
I mean,
do you remember some of the names that were in there what the year you did it?
I think, oh my God, I know Cece Holcomb was in there. Mariana was in there with me. Steffi was in there. I mean, so like none of these, none of us really are like, competing anymore. So it's like a whole new face. I think Hunter, got in the cage maybe the year or two after.
Okay.
And like, so I mean, like Hunter and Brianni might have lifted that. Like she didn't lift that year, but she probably lifted the last year. So, but I mean, it's a whole new cycle now. I mean, just like, I don't know how, like, I was just at the American Pro a couple of weeks ago. It feels like yesterday. I still have like the meat hangover from all the stimulation and whatnot. But like I was doing a little bit of commentating up in the box, and just like there were like 3, 4, 5, like there were a handful of women that were deadlifting over 600 pounds. Like to see where the sport is now, and I'm not even trying to make this like a whole, like empowerment kind of situation, right? But just like to see where the sport is now comparatively and the growth on both sides. I mean, truly, it's growing so fast that like in the next probably 2 or 3 years, it might be a whole complete different face of stuff too, right? Because I mean, you're seeing people come out of like that you've never even heard before that are deadlifting. I mean, like just like world records. I mean, like there was a couple of guys like I'd never even heard of their name before, never seen them like that. Maybe this was their second or third meet, and it's like people are strong now. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, Tommy, and we talked about it, especially like you brought it up on the women's side and on the especially like in the deadlift, like probably all the lifts, but it just really stuck out to us on the deadlift. Mm-hmm. The numbers seem to just be climbing so fast. Like the records are getting broken so fast and so quickly. It seems like it won't be long. I mean, I know it's like it is easy to say and harder to do, but it's like it doesn't seem like it'll be that long, and there'll be women deadlifting 700 pounds in a.
Oh, I absolutely believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, I absolutely believe it. And I was, when I was commentating for a couple of the flights, the benches as well. Like squat, the squats, but outside of Hunter Henderson can squat. I mean, like the whole world, honestly. Like I've never seen someone squat that much. But there were there were several like mid 300 benches, and like I remember whenever I was competing, like my bench was the baddest of everyone, right? Like it was like, everyone else, and then like my bench, and like my best bench was like 320-ish, but that was like, there was one girl that opened with like 330, and I was like, oh, sick. Okay, all right. Like my bench ain't crap, right? Like, I mean, it's super humbling, but it's like crazy to see. And just like at this rate, you'll have, women deadlifting 700 pounds, you'll have women bench pressing 400 pounds. And it's like, wait a minute, like this is crazy. And I mean, it takes a lot to impress me, because I've been around for a while, right? I've seen a lot, but it's like I'm impressed.
Right.
Yeah. So like when you go to the American Pro, you're around all of it, you're seeing these big lifts going on. Does that ever make you think like, do I want to get back in there? I mean, do you ever get that feeling?
I mean, I've been asked multiple times. Usually it's like multiple times a day at these big meets, like, oh, when are you coming back? And I'm like, the real answer is like, if there was enough money, I would, like, and they're like, oh, why won't you? And it's like, if there was enough money, I would, right? Like, I remember, I mean, like, I have that dog in me still, like I see this and I'm like, dang, I'm not crap. Woo, okay, I like that. Cause like, I like the feeling of being the underdog. I've always like lived that, right? Like once you make it to the top of the mountain, it's like, okay, like it's everybody else and me. It doesn't seem like quite as like, you don't have that chip on your shoulder, right? But it's like, I get that feeling that I'm like, man, I want to, and I think about it, but I also think about like how bad my body hurt. And I think about just like the, different commitments and stuff and like how I actually, when I was competing and I was competing at that level, I don't like genetically, I'm not the like most gifted person in the world. I just tried really hard. I tried really hard before a lot of people really considered powerlifting a sport, right? I was like putting everything in this to like be the best I could be, but it's like comparative. So I have to give like my 110%. So like I wasn't really making money. I didn't really have like a thriving business or, I wasn't really doing much outside of powerlifting, right? So like if there was enough money to make it worth it, I could be convinced. But other than that, truly just like I love coaching. I love coaching. I love like getting, like this would be past my bedtime if we were talking about if I was competing. I'd be like, sorry guys, I can't. That's past my bedtime. Got to recover. Got to squat tomorrow. So it's like the way that my life is set up now, it's not worth it to me. But like I definitely feel it. And I mean, I love to train, but I don't love being in pain. And like to be able to be like, oh, I'm just gonna not deadlift. Maybe I'll do something different this week because why do I need to chase these arbitrary? I don't.
Yeah.
So, that feels pretty good. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're doing great that you can at least, that of yourself. There's tons of people that go years and they can't ever admit that or ever actually figure that out. So you're winning that battle for sure.
Thank you. I mean, it like to be able to like, a lot of people thought, oh yeah, you're going to come back. You're going to come back. You're not really like retiring or whatever. Right. And I was like, I did what I wanted to do. I did what I set out to do and I'm okay with that. Right. I think a lot of people in powerlifting or in like just other sports and stuff, just, you don't know when to quit. Right. And the thing about powerlifting is like, you're not usually going to quit powerlifting. It kind of quits you, like your body kind of quits you. Right. Like there comes a time where maybe say that's your last squat because you can't squat anymore because you got a major injury or something like that. So to be able to walk away, did what I want to do, healthy. And now, I mean, I've always just loved to train, but like it kind of is a little bit boring if we're really going to be honest about it, like squatting, benching, deadlifting, and or some shade form in that fashion repeatedly. Like I love to train and like I love some, having some variance. Like I did a whole like stint in bodybuilding last year, and honestly, it was kind of fun outside of the severe dieting part, right? But like I got to train and train hard in a different kind of way and fashion, and just I love that. So it's like I don't know. I feel like I made it was tough, right? It's tough to walk away from something that you're like at that point in time, you're just a dramatic amount better than the people that are around you, right? Like, but to be able to walk away healthy and to be able to do what I do now, hey, I think I made the right call. And I mean, like, I'd say that was pretty challenging from an ego standpoint, but like definitely better for it.
Yeah. And something I don't want anyone that's listening, maybe that wasn't following you as much in like 2017, 18, 19 to not understand this. Cause we talked about how the sports advanced and progressed and stuff like that, but your numbers still like, your 320 bench, your 5, whatever squat, your total, like over 1,400 pound total. Has anyone to this day, beaten your total in your weight class? Like, I don't think so.
I'm not 100% sure with you, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Like I know someone broke my all-time squat record. I know that for sure.
Okay.
But I think I could be wrong now. I think that total still stands. I think someone definitely took the all-time sleeve record at 148, but I think the total is still mine, I think.
Yeah.
But also I like don't hyper fixate on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I could be totally wrong. And if I am, respect to whoever you got it, because like you deserve it. But yeah. So,
but that's my point though, is that still even like how much I don't want to. It's not like, oh yeah, they really like we were talking about
moved
some
on
people
and
that
left you behind. That's not
right.
the case.
We're talking about some people that are competing in 1, 2, 3 weight classes above what you were competing in too with some of those numbers, So
I mean, if you open powerlifting, I think you open the front screen, all my dots or Wilks or whatever has me like number 7 of like still. So I mean, like I'm kind of relevant, I guess. Like but what does any of it even matter? You know what I'm saying? Like that's my biggest thing. Is like I love powerlifting. I love to see the progression of the sport, but then ultimately records are made to be broken. All of this was it's arbitrary numbers that we're chasing and just, calculations. So, I mean, I don't get too caught up in it. To be somebody that was like obsessed with being I wanted one dot by my name and I got it. It really, truly, I mean, like, it's just all what we make of it, right? But that was my goal. That's what I did. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you talked about like the money side of it too, because we were just talking about Mr. Olympia, the Olympia, the bodybuilding show, and we don't know shit about shit when it comes to bodybuilding.
Yeah.
We'd be the first to admit that. But we were just talking about the payday. You know, the first place winner of that wins $400,000. You know, so if powerlifting was paying $400,000 to the top lifter, you'd probably consider pretty strongly doing a little bit of powerlifting again. Yeah, right.
I mean, I might have stayed in it for, like just indefinitely or whatever, made it a career, right? Because like to make it a career, it's gotta be something like that. And I mean, like, you think about it, like $400,000, that's, I mean, like a pretty hefty year salary, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
But bodybuilding, you got to be on it all day, all year. I mean, like, if we want powerlifting to be something like that, it's pretty much, you're an athlete, same kind of situation, right? Like, if we wanted it to be like that, but like, even the American Pro, and this is no shade or anything like that, but the payouts were a couple $1,000s, right? Like, I mean, like, which is a great payout and whatnot.
Right.
That's not like a your salary kind of situation, right? I mean,
no, it's like, oh, this is nice. If I was going to do this anyways, like, I'd rather get a couple $1,000s than not get a couple $1,000s.
My travel and what I'm paying to get here, it'll be covered. Cool. So I get a cool free trip, right? Like,
right.
Yeah.
So how was the American Pro overall though? I mean, did you go last year too? Also,
yeah.
Okay.
I've been both years. My homie Anna Perez, she is one of the co-meet directors. Her and Micah.
Yeah.
And so this is like it's like her baby. And so I mean, like, I've got to watch it just kind of take shape. And I mean, like, it was cool last year, but this year it was. I mean, I've been around for a minute, right? Like, I've been around. I've seen, like, I mean, just like some of these meets and stuff, and like, I'm not really truly super. It doesn't have to be this giant spectacle, right? There doesn't have to be, like, all the fire and the smoke and whatever else. Like, it's a little much sometimes, I think. But if it's done well and it's like done in this kind of situation, this was an event, and that's not just me saying that because it's, my homie, that's one of the directors, but I've like never seen something that was like, I mean, just the video screens and like the live streaming and like this is the kind of thing that makes you like, okay, this really could be like in the direction of like a sport, right? Like, where we're actually going to maybe make some money out of it. Somebody's going to pick it up. It's like, actually sponsoring it, like big companies or something like that. Like, that's the kind of thing that people would watch. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. We had Micah on like the week before or whatever to get his little preview of the event and stuff too. And so I guess the hope, you probably know too, being a little bit on the know, I guess the hope already for next year is bigger and better again, like just continuing to grow that and make it cooler and cooler.
Yeah. I mean, and so like, I have no doubt either. Like, cause I mean, like I said, lead off year, it was pretty cool. This year it was, I mean, really good. And I think they'll just probably just keep getting better and better. And I mean, hey, I think it's really cool that I still get to like be around and contribute in a way, right? Because like, I love powerlifting, even if it's not me physically lifting, right? And so I get to coach. So the American Pro was like 3 days, and I was coaching 2 days, and then I got to commentate on the third day. And it's like, I really enjoy just being in different positions, right? So it's like, I almost feel like I can make a bigger impact sometimes on the outside of it rather than being in it, because in it, I have to manage so much in terms of like being the athlete, right? Like being the hyper focus, like me executing, what I got to do. Versus if I can coach it, I can bring someone else to get to that point, to have that experience. And then like commentating is like just fun because I like to talk crap, right? Like, I mean, just like, and I like to have fun and just, I don't know, people pay me pretty much to be a mascot sometimes. So get in where you fit in, right?
Yeah. This is a stupid question, but are you from Alabama then originally?
Like, I am not. It's not a stupid question. Not a stupid question because everybody asks, right? I'm originally from South Carolina, so there is the Southern accent and everything. Alabama, Burr. I was a Alabama Roll Tide fan, so I played softball growing up. How gay of me, right? Like played softball, In high school, ended up playing in college, but my dream was to play for University of Alabama. I loved like their softball team. And
Is their
they were the
softball
best.
program okay? Is there
Yeah.
so their softball
Yeah.
program's legit?
Yeah, for sure. I was just too broke. I couldn't afford to go anywhere out of state. So, RIP my dream, but I needed my first ever Skype name. That was how I was communicating with my first ever girlfriend.
Okay.
So I made a Skype and I had to put a screen name and I was like, Bama Burr. Because everybody called me
It's a catchy
Burr,
name,
like in
though.
sports.
That's good.
Yeah. And I was like,
yeah.
and so I think that was probably like 2008 or 9 or something stupid like that. Made that screen name for my Skype, and it has stuck with me ever since. And so people used to call me Burr because that's my last name, obviously, like in sports. But then they put it together, and it just stuck too. So here we are.
What position did you play in softball?
You tell me, what position do you think I played?
I don't know.
I really want to know Tanner's answer here.
I don't know. I'll say shortstop. I don't know.
All right. You think I'm athletic?
That's
kind of what that's where I'm coming on.
I was
that.
going to say speedy and athletic.
I don't know, but
quick,
I don't know. I also don't know. It makes a difference. Were you strong like this then? Like, because I don't know. Like, I think a lot of times that strong, powerful players will be in. I don't know. Third base,
catcher.
left field,
catcher.
Catcher. No, I wouldn't have guessed
Catcher.
that. Okay, catcher.
I'm built like a teapot, bro. I mean,
Okay.
I've always been strong, right? But like, I wasn't really like, my coaches didn't want me to like lift heavy whenever I was like playing college ball and stuff. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna get hurt." So I lifted, but not as heavy. But I've always been just kind of square, right? So I appreciate. I was pretty fast, but just catching. I used to play, so I played baseball. Now I'm getting on a tangent, but I played baseball when I first started because I didn't want to play with girls because girls weren't competitive. Girls kind of suck, right? So I played baseball with the dudes and I played shortstop. And I pitched. And then when I transitioned to, you were right. You guys were right. So, so with the dudes, I was quick and speedy. But when I, transitioned over here to play softball, because that was what I had to play if I wanted to play for the school. So I played softball, and the first team I was ever on, the coach's daughter was the shortstop. And so I wasn't gonna like outplay her because that was coach's daughter. So he was like, "Hey, Burr, have you ever caught before?" And I was like, "No, sir." And he said, "You're going to learn today." And I said, "Okay." And I learned, and I never played anything else. In college, I got recruited as a catcher. I didn't get recruited as anything else because that was all I did. Probably one of the coolest things because I had somebody actually teach me, and nobody had ever really taught me much of anything, right? So like I'd never caught before, so someone just taught me. They threw balls at me and said, "Block it up, body it up." Like I just actually was taught, and I listened very well, and I follow a plan. That's why powerlifting was not really. You do what you're told. You do the things. You do them well. You repeat them over and over. Guess what? You get good at it. But so I was quick, but I was also like a little bit on the, just like stocky side and like ballsy enough, because you had to have somebody that wasn't afraid to block the play, or somebody that was not like bat blind, right? So I fit that, and there we have it.
What's harder to hit, a fast pitch softball or an overhand pitch? What is harder to hit?
I'm gonna say there's like pros cons of both, right? Because like softball, I'd say like hitting a rise ball in softball is probably the hardest thing. It's so close. Like your distance is a little bit closer, right? So it's like you're a little bit closer and the ball just moves so much, right? So I mean, like that's one of those things. With baseball, it's obviously smaller. So that for me, I'm kind of blind, like my eyesight sucks. So I'd say that was harder because the ball was smaller. You have a little bit longer to actually see it and track it. But like if you're blind, it doesn't really matter. I would say, like nobody's gonna believe me. None of the guys are gonna believe me, but I'd say hitting a softball I think is harder.
Well, I think some people do say, some people do say that though too. Like I feel like I've heard that before, that that's true. So that doesn't seem, just because it's bigger, I don't think necessarily makes that easier either. Is there? So when you're catching in fast pitch softball,
Mhm.
I don't hardly know shit about baseball even, but say the catcher's calling pitches, signs.
Mhm.
Are you doing the same in fast pitch softball?
Yeah.
So what are the
Yeah.
pitches?
Yeah,
Because it
I'm
seems like they're always just. It's always like it's always fast as shit. Like it's always like a fastball.
Oh, this is so much fun. I haven't got to talk like this in a long time. I mean, like, so there's fastball, obviously, right? There's
Right.
rise ball, which a rise ball is so instead of like the opposite of a drop ball. Drop ball is it's going to come in and it's going to drop off once you get close to the plate. So it's kind of like if you swing, it's going to drop in under. But rise ball is really hard to hit because it's going to, instead of dropping, it's going to go up. And so there's not really a way that you can correct the swing to hit a ball if it's rising above. So rise ball, drop ball, there's like sliders, there's curveballs. So just the way that they track and trail off. There's off speed pitches. There's also something in softball called a slip pitch where, so this is, I have not thought about this in forever, but so normally you have like, a full rotation and you go all the way around. A slip pitch, which is only legal in some leagues, is instead of going all the way around a full rotation, the pitcher will let the ball go in the middle of like the rotation, and so it just kind of like floats in. It's like just a trick pitch, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like if you're lucky enough, I mean, sometimes you can sit back there and you can just wail on it, but like it just kind of usually catches people by surprise.
Right.
But there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, so and being the catcher, right, and actually calling pitches and stuff. For me, I think this is probably why I like really enjoyed catching so much was you're in control of the entire game. Sometimes the coach is calling, but like once I got to where I was like pretty decent, I mean, in terms of like, just assessing what was going on the field, I would have free reign pretty much to call like what pitches I thought would like, I can tell what's working, what's not working. I could call the pitch. Like if you wanted the girl to hit it to right field, where you would call the pitch based on that, the trajectory, I would call that kind of pitch, right? So, I mean, just as the catcher, you're the only one that's seeing the field from this view. Everyone else is looking in and you're calling the pitches. So it's like you can see everything. And I'm obviously a control freak, as you can tell. That's why I really love that too.
Yeah. So
that's
do you still follow college baseball to this day?
College baseball, not so
sorry,
much, but college
softball. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
you're good.
yeah.
You're totally good. But softball, yeah. Like I live in Austin now, or right outside of Austin, and Texas has always been a pretty good team, and so I'll go to Texas softball games. Like I'm not gonna say like all the time because I'm not really in Austin very much, but like when I'm home, if I can catch a game, I'll catch a game just because it's so much fun to watch. Like it's fun. It's pretty fast paced. And I mean, just like what. Throw $20 and I can go watch a baseball game or a softball game. Yeah, I'll do it.
So living in Texas, are you still an Alabama fan to this day?
I am.
Yeah.
Roll Tide roll. And usually nobody's gonna fight me, right? Yeah. Like I can get away with a lot of things that some people can't. Don't be mad. But like I 100%, I mean, I'm not gonna go to the Texas game if Texas isn't playing Alabama and just wear a Roll Tide kind of situation. I'm just gonna wear something just like neutral or whatever. But like I definitely 100% like have my Alabama like just like some of my gear and stuff, and I represent. Nobody fights me.
Yeah. What was did you do one bodybuilding competition or did you do multiple?
I did three, but I did them all last year.
Okay. So what was your least favorite part about competing in bodybuilding?
The sparkly bikini, maybe. I've never worn a two-piece bikini before in my entire life, so buying a $1,400 one to
holy crap. And that's common probably then. That's just
that was with a $200 discount, guys.
Jeez.
Like
how can they cost that much? It's like this much Tell
me about it. I don't know. And then, okay, so you know what? Let's just go. Let's just keep on this rant since I'm here, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be that part or the having to pay and wake up at like 4:00 in the morning to go get a face full of makeup, like, and your hair done.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if this just doesn't really seem what like this. Like, I get the pageantry, but like, you know what I like? I like to train hard, and I like a challenge. I don't really like the whole, let me just do my hair and makeup and prance around in this sparkly bikini. Like, not really my vibe, right? Like, I love the process Like I love the hard. I love the like grueling cardio sessions. And I like, I'm not gonna say I love the dieting because like, oh my God, I didn't realize how fat I am, right? Like I love to eat. Like I love to eat. And so like I didn't realize how much I love to eat until I couldn't eat, right? Like, and I said that with all the love in my heart, but like just the dieting was hard, but I enjoyed the hard. Like the cardio was hard, but I enjoyed that. I really didn't enjoy the actual competition, like the actual, the show and like some people like that. They like getting dolled up and look pretty, but like, I don't know. I didn't love that aspect of it. Like I wanted to showcase my body, like I wanted to showcase my work versus like none of this really matters, right? Like, and so that's kind of like an interesting take on like, women's bodybuilding and like what's the pageantry of it or like what is bodybuilding? Like
Right.
one of the shows that I did, I got knocked down because they said I was too conditioned. They wanted someone that was a little bit softer than me. And I was like, okay. So
What's
at
the
what
point?
point,
Yeah,
like,
right,
so I mean, like,
right,
at
right.
what point is this the pageantry aspect, or at what point is this the bodybuilding aspect, right? And like, I don't know crap either. I had a really good coach that approached me at the gym that I was training out of, and he saw me deadlift. I think I pulled 450 one day, just like, it was sometime last year, and he just was like, give me 6 months and I'll make you a women's physique pro. And I said, I wasn't training for anything. Like I just love to train, right? Like I hadn't competed or anything, but I still like to squat, deadlift, I still like to train and train hard. And I just hadn't done anything hard in a while. And he approached me on the right day when the moon aligned. And I was like, okay, what time do I show up tomorrow? Right. And so from that moment on, I was like, I'm going to do a bodybuilding show. And that was it. Right. So that was how that happened.
I mean, had the idea ever crossed your mind before that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, like, anybody that's gotten into fitness, right, like has the idea not ever crossed, like, just even if it's fleeting, right, crossed your mind, right? Like, I got into like fitness and just like training and stuff because I used to just read the bodybuilding magazines, right? Like, I would see the fitness magazines and just like, I love the idea of like bodybuilding, right? Like I grew up in like with a bunch of like big dude bodybuilders, right? Just like I was the little token white girl that was like, ain't nothing but a peanut. Like that's kind of why I'm like this now, right? So like I had always thought of it, but I really kind of fell in love. I say fell in love with like powerlifting because I didn't like that it was so subjective, right? Like even in theory, before I'd ever done it, I was like, well, you could diet for 12 weeks or whatever, do all the training, do all the work, but like you're just not what the judge wants. That feels kind of dumb, right? I was like, with powerlifting, if I do all the things, if I get the strength, if I do the things, it doesn't matter if I'm ugly or if my makeup's not right or if whatever else. What matters is I pick the weight up like to comp spec. So I like the idea that it was like powerlifting was performance based versus bodybuilding being much more subjective. And so like that's why I lean towards like the strength sport. But I was approached on the right day, the right time, and I needed to do something hard. And I was just like, I had toyed with the idea, but I just didn't. I'd never had anybody that like I trusted or anybody that I knew as like a coach. And I didn't know this guy. I didn't know this guy from anybody else than Justin Mahaley, but I knew that he was a coach. I knew that he had coached a ton of people like and had pros. And so I was like, well, he must know what he's doing. And if he thinks that I can do this, sometimes that's all you need is somebody to like just see it in you and like just say, hey, have you ever thought about it? And now you're like, okay, cool. Right. At least for me, that's how I just kind of was like, okay, well, if he thinks I can do this, he clearly knows what he's doing. Hey, show me the way. Right. I can follow a plan.
Yeah.
How did you like the posing part of it? Like, what did you think of that?
That was hard too. And like, I work with a really good posing coach too. Alyssa, like the classical queen. I think she won the New York Pro a couple years ago, but she's excellent. She was great, but it was just so hard. I'm like, and it was hard in a way that I didn't really anticipate because you think about, okay, you're just like flexing, right? Like not hard at all, but so hard, especially whenever I had mind muscle connection. Like, I mean, like I like to train like in a bodybuilding style anyway, but it's like the posing and to be in a really feminine presentation. I know how to be big, right? I know how to take up space, but I don't know how to do it and be pretty about it. So like there was a lot of just like the movements were very unfamiliar to me. The positions were unfamiliar to me. So it was like I was a beginner in a way that like I really didn't anticipate because like I know how to take douchey selfies, right? I know how to pose, but I did not know how to pose. And like I did
Right.
not know how to hold my breath a certain way or just, like to sit there and hold, like I remember when Alyssa was doing the posing with me, she was running me through just like, I mean, like sessions back, and I was breathing so heavy. At this point, I was doing like 2 hours of cardio a day or something, right? So I'm in condition, but I was just sucking air because it was just like so hard, just holding the contractions. So, I mean, I don't know. I definitely have a respect for it that I did before, but I have a deeper respect because I did it, right? The posing and stuff, it's art if you actually do it right. Now, some people will get on stage and just, I mean, like, okay, you look goofy, that's on you. But like the posing aspect, if you really do it, it's an art form. And like that, you don't think about that. Like at least I thought, okay, I'm gonna train hard, I'm gonna diet hard, and then I can just get it, figure the rest out. No, 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 no. I can train hard, I can diet hard. Now I'm gonna have to pose. Like Justin would have me pose every day. He would have me pose every single day, and I did. Right, I posed every day with him, and then I posed with her, just like virtual sessions. But it's like you just have to practice. You have to, and it's like that's even just like a lot of energy to do too when you're eating like nothing, right? So I mean, just all of it in a nutshell, I bit off a lot. I bit off a lot more than like I probably should have chewed, but I chewed it up anyway, and I did it 3 times. So that's enough for me for now.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, we've got this little game we play with every guest that we have on. It's overrated, underrated. So we've handpicked a special Bama Burr set of over/under topics.
All right,
It's your
perfect.
job to, pick in each one, whether it's overrated or underrated, but you just can't ride the line. You have to
Okay.
definitively say if each one, and they're always super controversial, so you're in for it. Okay.
Bring it on.
All right. So overrated or underrated Power Rangers?
Underrated. So underrated. So underrated. That's why obviously I wore what I did. Thank you so much at the American Pro.
Which color Power Ranger were you? What color was that?
I was the blue one, but I'm gonna be honest with you. The costume that I ordered was the Black Ranger, and I did not know until the day of when I opened the costume to put it on that it was the blue one.
Switched it on.
Putting this big old thing in a blue leotard wasn't really my anticipation, but I went with it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
So, having your choice then, is the Black Ranger your favorite?
yeah.
That was
Yeah.
okay. I was always
But I hear the blue ones like the gay ones, so I'm guessing the universe is just
yeah,
trying
they
to
just
like,
knew.
See, I don't remember well enough. Like, isn't the black one? Wasn't that like a cool special Power Ranger that came on later? Like,
No,
not
that was
in
the
original
green
group
one.
or-
That was Tommy.
Okay, that was
right?
the green
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
cool too, though. I won't lie. Tommy's pretty cool.
See, my name's Tommy, so naturally the green one's cool
Yeah.
already. He's got the same name. It's like, yeah, that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best one right there.
The red one's probably overplayed, right? Wouldn't red be that's probably like the most? Is that like one of the most? Is he one of the more popular characters? I don't know.
Yeah, I always felt like the red guy. To me, it was like the red guy and the pink girl. Like they were like, we're the the real American duo here.
Yeah.
The American Rangers. Morphin time.
Okay. Overrated or underrated 6th Street in Austin?
Oh, overrated probably. I'm like, wait, what? I'm gonna say overrated because truly everything I think in Austin, and I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this. I think everything in Austin is overrated because ew, like what's the parking situation? I have a truck and there is no way I'm going anywhere down there and trying to park it. So like everything is overrated. If you're not picking me up or if there's not a real easy parking situation, I'm not going. So I say everything in Austin is overrated.
That's how far are you? Like if you were to go like downtown Austin, like how long does it take to get there?
20 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
Whenever I was moving here, I didn't want to be in downtown Austin. But my goal was I was like I only wanted to be 20 minutes from the airport, 20 minutes from like downtown, 20 minutes from the airport, and that was good. And so someone told me directly, live here and I follow directions really well. So
Okay. Overrated or underrated grasshopper mowers?
my God, underrated. Oh my God, you did do your research. Yo, grasshoppers, and like only real ones know this though, but grasshoppers, those are the best. Those are just such comfortable ride. The deck is so big. I love cutting grass. Obviously you guys know this, but if anybody out there, Bama Burr lawn care, let me know. I'll come with my grasshopper and chop up that lawn for you, baby.
So have you
So
has been mowing the grasses that always been like a therapeutic thing you've loved, or you've developed that over time?
When I used to live in South Carolina, I had like 3 acres of land, and so I would cut my grass, and I had a big grasshopper mower, and so I'd cut my grass, and then that house I bought, and it was just like maybe 2 or 3 minutes from where my grandma lived, because I took care of her a lot. And so I would just ride my lawnmower. I'd ride my lawnmower across the road down to her house, and I would cut her grass. And then some of the old ladies in her little neighborhood, they were like, "Oh, well, can Stacy come cut my grass?" And so I would go cut her grass, the little old lady's grass. And so I'd just make it a full day, right? Like usually on like a rest day or something, I would just make it a full day of cutting grass. And it kind of just felt like my like service in a way of like, this is how I show my love. Even still, like, just like physical tasks that people can't do themselves, but also cutting grass. I'm not trying to get like super deep on it, right? But just like, I don't know, you can't really be bothered when you're cutting grass, right? Like I've got my headphones in, and like, what can you smell? Grass, right? Like, you're outside, you're getting some sun, I'm cutting straight lines. It's the tism in my brain. It makes it feel good. I mean, just like, I love cutting grass, but I also love any kind of physical labor that has you like in nature, any kind of connection. So like, I love to cut grass. Even still here in Texas, I don't have my big grasshopper out here, but I cut like 2 or 3 girls' grass. Like, just like, I'll go over there and like I'll smoke some of their weed and I'll cut their grass, and it's just an easy exchange,
There's a grass trade off.
Yeah. Fair trade, bartering. I love it.
Yeah. What about weed whipping or trimming? Do you also can you be okay? So that's part of the service.
Bro, yeah, come on, a full service grass situation. If you just leave, what do you think? I'm just gonna not trim it up? Get out of here. You don't know anything about baseball or cutting grass. What kind of man are you?
No, I do know cutting grass. I just want your take on it.
Okay, but then the final piece, though, is that edging. The sidewalk edging. Is that? Do you hit that too?
Oh yeah, 100%. We got one of those little edgers that goes inside. Got you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Make it look nice and clean.
All right, good. Overrated or underrated white monsters?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, like, I have to choose a stance. I'm gonna say they're underrated.
Okay, because they're rated pretty. They're pretty well.
They're
it's like the classic. Is it? I mean, is White Monster the best monster? I mean, right.
I mean, is it the best energy drink?
No.
What's better?
Well, Rockstar. There was a Rockstar that was okay. It kind of tasted to some people like cough medicine, but it was cotton candy Rockstar. Okay, but
see the name already. You're throwing me off with the name already.
Like it tasted like blue. Okay, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It tastes like artificial blue. Okay, but it had like 300 mgs of caffeine. So like. The White Monster, you have to drink like you have shotgun 2 of them to kind of feel it. That's where I'm at with it. That's why
I'm not at that level,
underrated.
but I've heard people get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hear that is about people. How do you guys stay up so late and you don't even know about this monster game, right? Like, but the 300 mgs of the Rockstar, I could feel that a little bit, So I could drink that and feel it, but I think that they might be discontinued now. So White Monster is still just the OG, but I'm gonna say. Instead of saying it's overrated because I think so highly of it, it's got to just be underrated since I have to choose a stance.
Yeah, and you do have to choose. But it's funny, like your White Monster is also a little more OG too, because like now it feels like Rain like took such a big the Rain has all these sponsored people that are kind of like into the lifting community and stuff. But I've only maybe had like a few Rains in my life. I feel like I've never really had that many.
I'm never going to get sponsored by Rain because I'm about to just tell the truth to what I think here. I had somebody that I know, they will not be named, but Rain gave them several cases of just like free, from like an event or something. And I was like, oh man, I've never really tried or tasted Rain. And I, drank one and I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. Then I opened something else and I was like, oh my God, this is even worse. And then so I just went through it, right? I was like, I picked one of every flavor and they recorded me and I went through like what it tasted like, just a blind taste test. They were all terrible. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there's some that I haven't tried, but like, not a fan. Like, not a fan.
And is Bang Energy, is that the one at the Arnold where it was always the ridiculous booth where it's got like
over the top?
How much would you have to get paid to hang out there for like an hour?
I like titties.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. But well, I mean, yeah, looking at them and stuff's fun, but I don't know if I want to like be it like
in the booth.
right.
Probably only last for just a little bit of time. That'd be way too much for me. I'm super introverted. Even being at the American Pro for 3 days, I still feel like I'm hung over from the in the lights, right?
Yeah. All right, last one, and we saved the best for last, the most important, most controversial for sure. Overrated and underrated rotisserie chicken.
Oh my God, so underrated. So underrated. Yo, you can have like protein for days, guys, and like it's anywhere, it's to go. Okay, so like you could be eating it in your truck. What's the most underrated thing is a rotisserie chicken in your truck, right? Like front seat of your truck, just go into town.
So
do it anywhere.
Do you have a preferred? You can get a rotisserie chicken from anywhere.
You can get it from Walmart, or you can get,
I mean, I'm cheap, so I'll just get it from Walmart.
Okay.
Like, I'm cheap and trashy. I'll get it from Walmart. People say that, like, Costco's got some fire chickens, but I don't have a Costco membership. Like, am I going with you? You gonna get my chicken? Because I love, you know what? 3 rotisserie chicken is my favorite. So if you want to buy it for me, I'll eat it from wherever it is, right?
So is rotisserie, when you're bodybuilding, is that something you got to eat then too? Like, were you living on that?
That's cute. That's cute. You think I got to eat rotisserie chicken? That's cute. Yeah. Nah. If it wasn't like basically like plain chicken, asparagus,
you weren't getting it. Yeah.
Nah, green beans. Nah, I didn't get it for like weeks, months, years.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That part doesn't sound fun.
I need to go overeat.
So how often do you get, like, will you get a weekly rotisserie chicken or not that often?
I still try. I'm bulking now, like for real. Like not even like just getting fat. Like if I probably will compete in another bodybuilding show at some point in my life, but like my last show, my stage weight was 119. And so I've lifted dumbbells heavier than that. So like that's not the move for me, right? So like I'm intentionally trying to get bigger, but I'm also trying not to like get like a super sloppy kind of bigger. So I try to limit my rotisserie chicken consumption maybe to once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All
right, that's reasonable.
Yeah. No more.
But because I mean, like I'll eat the whole thing. I'll eat the whole thing in one sitting. I'm starting to talk to like more like normal people. Like I interact with like normal people on a little bit more regular basis now, since I'm not like in the mix of competing and stuff. And like people are just so like impressed or horrified by like my eating habits and how much I can eat. They're like, "You're still eating?" I'm like, "I'm hungry, bro. Like you just ate 2 hours ago." And I'm like, yeah. And I don't know if like the bodybuilding and stuff too, just like I can eat. I always could. That was one thing. Just like when I competed my last meet at 148, I weighed in at 148, but I cut down from 172. You feel me?
Yeah.
So,
right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, great news. It looks like you passed overrated, underrated. So congratulations. Best in the world again. And still.
Shocker.
Still,
you heard it here.
Top of the charts.
Congratulations. So where you what is it, Bama, what's your coaching? The
Bama Brick Squad?
Yeah, right. So what do people do if they want to find out more about that? Like, do you take people all the time, or what's the process, or what it's like?
I'm currently accepting clients, and like I coach people that are athletes. I also coach like lifestyle clients and stuff. I just like coaching people that like to work hard and like to train. But you can visit my website, BamaBrickSquad.com, or you can shoot me a message on Instagram, Bama Brick Squad Training. So just message me there, and that's how you get to it.
Right on. What about the Champion Mindset podcast? Are you still like, where's that at? Because you've done a lot of episodes before.
Yeah.
So will you still pump them out, or is it on pause, or what's the status?
Yeah, I haven't done any like super recently, right? I'm in the middle of getting a new editor and I'm doing a couple like revamps to it because I've done over 100 episodes, I think, and they've all been like solo episodes, just like solo episodes, me talking basically like, just like almost like a meditation kind of way. But I'm hoping next year, like obviously next year is like basically next month, but next year I'm looking to try to get into a little bit bigger studio space and get it where I can have guests on. And so I'm looking to kind of crank out a little bit more and do them more consistently because I was doing it once a week and like that was great for a while. And then I just really needed a break from that. So I'm going to try to get them pumping out probably bi-weekly at the beginning of next year and then hoping that I can add some guests on too. So that's my plan.
Excellent.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on. This was a lot of fun, and I'm glad especially that we got to talk about rotisserie chickens and grasshopper mowers and softball.
I would say the grasshopper mowers were probably my favorite thing. That, Yep, for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. We appreciate it. I think people really like this, so we're glad we got to talk to you.
All right. Well, thank you guys for having me on, and it's about to be my bedtime now, so I'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
See
Thanks a
ya.
lot, Stacy.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Cool beats. Cool.
Tanner, it didn't dawn on me until you said Big Stacy, but as soon as you said it, you know what it made me think of?
No.
All of the Dark Iron Gains memes. The lady is always Stacy in all of them.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It just makes me think of, as soon as you say Big Stacy, I just start thinking of Dark Iron Gains.
I haven't gone down a Dark Iron Gains rabbit hole for a while.
Yeah, it's still about like you'd expect.
Yeah. What's the band called? 10 Scoops or so?
Oh
his
yeah,
band.
I forgot about it. Yeah, was it 10 Scoops?
I'm
or
still
was it
waiting
2
for
scoops?
10. I think it's 10 Scoops.
10 Scoops. Okay.
I'm still waiting for 10 Scoops to make us a little
Custom Massenomics song. Yeah.
Yeah,
Be
yeah.
sweet.
Yeah, even like a little like 20-second something there.
Mm-hmm.
A la 10 Scoops. Your brother Ryan will put on a little 10 Scoops in the gym every once in a while.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard it?
Yeah, it's because I follow the Dark Iron Gains Spotify playlist, and I believe they had some 10 Scoops. I'm pretty sure they had some 10 Scoop songs mixed in the playlist on there.
Well, they should.
I mean, it'd be weird if they didn't. That's why I thought that I had came across it there.
Yeah. Should we hit him with an ad? What do we?
Yeah, let me
Do it to
let me
him.
take a swing here. Today's show is brought to you by Texas Power
That was
Bars.
a softball reference.
That
Take a swing.
was very much a softball reference. Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s and began powerlifting in the mid-70s. At the time, he was working for Image Barbell building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them, calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. Fast forward to today, and Buddy has came out with the 29-millimeter Texas Power Bar. It is the greatest bar he has ever seen and trained with, and it is the Texas Power Bar. It's strong as a house with the best knurling, and it is maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, world, and Massenomics powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. To learn more about Texas Power Bars and buy one of their legendary bars, visit, you guessed it, TexasPowerBars.com.
I got a little Texas Power Bars news if you're interested.
Oh, I'm always interested. Yeah, do I see some retros showing up over there?
Yeah. Have I talked about any of them?
Well, the one you talked about that you got, who did you get it from again? Like
well,
a
I
month or
got
two
yeah,
ago?
that was the first gen Texas Power Bar from Big Efren.
Yes, okay, that's what I thought. Yes.
So that was the last time that's the last update
that's-
on
that's
that.
the last
I've
update
had.
I got.
So here's a little. We know everyone knows about our Texas Power Bars timeline that we do here. That everyone has come to know and love. But here's some more detailed, really on the nuance
lay it
of
on
Texas
me. Let's
Power
hear
Bars
it.
that I've started to become more, not an expert on, but I don't know. I just understand it better than I did in the past. Enough to be able to semi-confidently explain what's going on here with my Texas my growing Texas Power Bar.
Is this our
vintage
newest
collection.
segment? Tanner explains the Texas Power Bar's history, but it's not part of the ad.
Yes, this is reading between a lot of those dates and lines in there. There's what I found is there's just massive gaps.
So
in our
like
timeline.
I read like the one of the movies, and now you're gonna take us down like a TV show side quest here.
This is like, oh, you jackass, you never read the comic books and you didn't see the cartoon.
Big fan over here. He's watched the movie a few times. Yeah,
he's like. It's like you didn't watch the cartoon series, like
that was only on TV from 82 to 84 and nothing else since then.
Oh yeah, you're really into it, aren't you? Like, well, no, I didn't watch it. It was a cartoon.
Yeah, I wasn't born yet.
So that one I bought from Efren is what you'd call a Generation 1 Texas Power Bar.
Roughly what year are we talking here?
A Generation 1 Buddy Caps Texas Power Bar. That would be whatever the date, whatever they say. Is it 1980? Is that what's stamped?
Passion, Drive, and
Yes,
Purpose.
that's like a 1980 to, I don't know when they stopped making what's considered the
Okay.
Gen 1 Power Bar, but that would be
But we're
one of the
talking
original.
early 80s-ish.
Yeah, one of the original Buddy Caps Texas Power Bars, and they are not stamped on the end. It does not have a Texas.
So how do you know?
stamp on
How do you
the
know
end.
what it is? If there's no, is there any indication on it?
The way it is built in constructed.
Oh,
I guess essentially
because of the way it is.
Yeah, right. Like because of its characteristics of
You can tell there's a Texas Power Bar
Yeah.
because of the way it is.
right. Because someone that if you ask me how I can tell it is, it's because I bought it
someone
from
that's
someone
smarter
that
than me
knows.
told me.
Yeah, that knows than told me. Like someone
Which is how a lot of things in life are. So
that's kind of true, really, if you think about it. But I believe what you would say is because nobody else actually made a bar that's of that specific.
of
because
that caliber.
Well, and even just like the way it's the unique characteristics that you could define it by. But really, in my case, it's just because somebody said that. And then I look at other people that are also advertising a Gen 1 Texas Power Bar, and I'm like, yes, it looks the same. I see these similar
These patterns popping up here.
Yes, I guess I see how they are both the same bar. So I got that. And then I've also got, of course, at the gym, what many would consider, we've got multiple Gen 4 Texas Power Bars, which are like what our gym started with, is a Generation 4 Texas Power
That's
Bar.
just present day, isn't it?
Well, caveat, some people consider now the 29 millimeter
excluding
is a
29
Gen-
millimeter though. Yeah.
Well, but it's important because some people now call in the community that 29 millimeter a Gen 5 Texas Power Bar.
The Texas Power Bar Commission gathered and they
Yes.
voted and said we have entered a new era.
Yes.
But there was dissent among all of them. They didn't all
and
agree.
not everyone would agree that it's still all Gen 4, but some people would say 29
Yeah.
millimeter is Gen 5.
At the 50th annual Texas Power Bar congressional meeting,
Yeah.
they didn't come to a consensus.
If I'm the mindset, I like for it to be called a Gen 5, just so it's another distinction when I speak of this collection.
There's more layers you can pepper in there.
So we have Gen 5. We've got multiple Gen 4s. Gen 4s really would always be a special place in my heart as my personal favorite still in the Gen 4.
It does feel like the classic, the modern day classic.
Yeah. The Gen 1, which I've got and have used many times, I like. The Gen 1 is still a nice bar.
Mm-hmm.
The one I most recently ordered that's not here yet, he's shipping it tomorrow, is a Gen 3.
Oh.
And the Gen 4, the bar, you know how it's the end of the barbell is recessed, and then there's that
the caps are
Texas
inside
Power Bar,
there.
the cap, inside on the inside. The Gen 1 is not like that.
Yeah, it's just like rounded.
It has a convex, rounded end to it, and no stamp on it. Gen 3, the one I ordered, it is indented ends, but there's not like that painted cap thing that's in there.
The Texas end cap isn't on there.
The Texas end cap isn't in there, but there is a Texas stamp inside of there that gets worn off on a lot of them. Actually, like I don't know how it gets worn because it's recessed in there, but so that's a Gen 3 that I have on the way. In between it It looks very much like the Gen 3, the one I ordered that is recessed and has the Texas stamp inside it. This one, Gen 2, is also recessed and has the stamp inside of it where it's literally just like stamped onto the metal.
Mm-hmm.
But the distinction is the Gen 2 has a snap ring. None of the other Texas Power Bars have a snap ring, and this Gen 2 has a snap ring inside of that somehow, some way.
Are there any barbells in the gym right now that have snap rings? Like
Yeah, because like the Rogue ones.
those do. Okay, those have
that, and like the American Barbell probably does, and all of them that have, most of them besides the Texas Power Bar do.
Okay, that's
the
right.
Texas Power Bar has those. I can't remember what that 50 people listening will know the answer to this right away, but it's basically like about 3 inches from the end of the barbell on the sleeve. It's like the cotter pins. Yeah, it's those punch pins.
Yes, okay.
That's how you take apart.
I was trying to think, how the hell do you do? Yeah,
you have to punch those out. The word is escaping me of what that's called.
Yeah.
So
you explained. I knew exactly.
75 people will DM me and be like, "Oh, you dumb fucker! This is what it's called."
They're rear-ending the person.
Yeah.
They're so mad driving their car right now.
You stupid!
Damn it, Tanner!
You don't know anything. I know everything. You are so stupid, and I am so smart.
You bought them in the wrong order, you dumbass. So you'll have a full collection here shortly, then.
Well, so I don't have the Gen 2.
Oh well. So did you order one or not?
Not the Gen 2 yet.
Oh, okay.
The Gen 2 with the snap ring, they didn't make for very long. It's not. It's kind of funny. It's not particularly valuable, but it is relatively rare.
Yes.
So I found one guy that has one for sale in Texas, maybe ironically.
Of course.
But he will not ship it to me. I haven't convinced him yet. So I'm still on the search for that Generation 2. But the other bar that I haven't mentioned yet in any of this, so we've talked about
more.
Well, I now will have the 1, 3, 4, 5, missing the 2 that I'm on the hunt for, but there's more. The one I also have in the gym that I most recently got, my Gen 3 isn't here yet.
Don't tell me Image Barbell.
It's not Image Barbell. It's
Don't
actually
tell me Champion Barbell.
All this to be said, this is a missing part of our timeline read here. This is the deepest deep dive. This is the interesting part. The rest of it, you might think, shut the fuck up. Why are you still talking about these? This is the interesting part. You know how I said the Gen 1 does not have a Texas stamp on it?
Yeah.
The bar I have in the gym that predates the Gen 1 Texas Power Bar, it's the original Texas Power Bar, but not the original Buddy Caps.
Oh, yeah, because wasn't there like another manufacturer of them?
Yeah, it is the Mac Texas
there you
Power
go.
Bar.
Yes, yep.
So I have the Mac, which the Mac and the Gen 1 look very similar, although where they don't have the indented ends. They have the
when
rounded
it showed up,
end.
did you say, "Return of the Mac"? Did you play that? Everyone started dancing. You're like, whoa, guys.
Yeah. But the Mac on the end of it, and most Macs, because they're even older, and this stamp was not deeply stamped into the metal. Most of the stamps are worn off of the Mac Texas.
Yeah.
Like, this is the original bar that first had this Texas stamp on it. It doesn't say Buddy Caps. It says Mac's Texas Power Bar, and that has the Texas.
And is this MAC
state logo? MAC.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so Buddy worked for Mac.
Yep.
Split off. This is as I understand it. Split off to make Buddy Caps barbells. The Gen 1 didn't have the Texas thing on it yet because Mac was still in production at the time, and they had the rights to that. By the time the Texas Gen 2 came around, Mac was out of business, and Buddy now had the Texas Power Bar name.
Gotcha.
That he originally worked on those bars at Mac.
Yep.
So I have a Mac, and it's a really nice Mac. What I would understand with my limited knowledge, it's a really nice Mac because it's got really good the logo on the end of it's very strong still. Yeah. And I've used the Mac, and it is a good bar. There again, this is a bar from the 70s now, probably.
Yeah.
And like compared to say like our classic origin story that everyone knows at this point is the YMCA, the local Western Northeast South Dakota YMCA, where we met, where we lifted where we began powerlifting, where Massenomics sort of began. This bar is still way better than any bar they have there. At least that they had there at our point in time. Like I'm like, you could you could do anything with any lifts with this bar, and there'd be absolutely no problem. It would be nice. You'd be like, oh, that's a pretty good bar.
They don't say strong as a house for nothing.
That's amen. So that's where I'm at. So now I actually have not just the 1 through 5. I have the Mac through the 1 through the 5.
You got the
just
prequel.
A hole on the 2 as of now.
Wow.
But then what makes me think when I get the 2, well, then do I need to somehow find an image barbell? And the problem
really
is
completes the storyline.
Well, I think the problem is some of these become so obscure they're not even collectible. Like nobody even knows what it is.
In the home community, like, what is this guy asking for?
I'm already kind of getting there. Like on this Gen 2 Texas Power Bar, it's not even really collectible. You're just lucky if someone has it for sale and someone knows it's a Texas Power Bar, so it's like, this has some value still.
You know, half of these things with collectible, I mean, you know it firsthand. It's not related to their value, or it's all it's all related to
just
hype and sentimentality.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could be the one to start the craze on the Gen 2 right now.
Well, I think I need the Gen 3's got to show up, and then I need to get this Gen 2. And once we have the Gen 2, I think we could do a fun little YouTube, basically this in a YouTube video form, but showing each of them.
Do the full timeline of all of them.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be cool. Especially if we got some good photos of the end caps and the knurling on all of them. It would be a cool little thing.
Yeah. But I got to have the Gen 2, otherwise it's an incomplete set.
Yep. Can't be having that.
So if anyone out there, if you have what I just described to you as a Gen 2 Texas Power Bar, let's talk.
Get your people in touch.
But it's kind of fun because some of these things are the Mac is pretty collectible. So that wasn't all that cheap, but like the Gen 2 and Gen 3, they're kind of just like old barbells or like not like super
just,
old collectible. They're just like
there's not a lot of specialness to these. They're kind of old.
These have just been used several years in the gym. Like they're
not super collectible.
Yeah.
Well, I found that story very interesting. I can't wait to see the collection finished out.
Yes. Oh, and one other note on the whole thing then is, yes, I have continued to buy many more barbells here in 2023.
Yes.
That number, I'm not even sure what the number is. We'll have to review that a little bit before we come to our end of the year recap.
The number is for sure over 10.
It might be like 10. I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty high. It has to be
over 10. It was.
Yeah, because just here I'm buying these 3. I've got at least 3 old Texas Power Bars.
We came home from the Arnold with 3, didn't we?
Like 2 or 3. Yeah, and then I think I bought 1 or 2 others. So I might be at like 8 or 9, probably.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll keep
and
that
I think
in
the
mind.
over under was like 2 or 3, and I thought
think it was 3. We'll keep that in mind for the guessing game next year, January.
But then I really couldn't. Now with all these, I really couldn't see buying many more bars.
No, why? No one will come out with any new good bars or anything. There'd never be a reason for it.
I'll just be like, oh, what's another brand of old ones I could collect?
Well, you don't have the knurled axle bar yet, do you?
No, and I still want that.
Yeah. Yep. Slipping right there. That's a major.
I still want that
gap.
Yes. What was the Midwest?
Oh boy. Strap on in. I've got a story for you. So, Tanner, you're an alum of one of Canada's top business schools.
Yes, absolutely.
People that don't know, we're talking about the University of South Dakota, of course.
Yeah. State football championships, high school state football championships going on there as we speak.
As we speak, yes. So I ran across a local publication this weekend, and I don't want to misquote anything here, so I took a picture.
We would never want to misquote.
No, we don't do that ever. So this local publication, they had just random stuff in it like they always do, but then there was a map, and this map looked like it was highlighting the Midwest to a certain extent. And so you have my attention now. I'm curious. Yeah. And so this part didn't even get a headline, but the first sentence really caught my attention because it was just like, here's this part of the article. And then they do the little dot like, all right, we're starting a new article, but it's still in the same one. Right. And the first sentence says, what exactly is the Midwest? Does it include Michigan, Indiana, Ohio? How about South Dakota? I'm like, all right, here we go here. And this was very interesting.
This is tailor-made for us.
It says Middle West Review. A scholarly journal based out of the University of South Dakota sought to gauge perceptions of people about whether they think they live in the Midwest or whether they consider themselves to be Midwestern. And so I was, one, very interested in the results, and also amazed that right here in our own state, we have the Middle West Review, a scholarly journal devoted to studying the Midwest. And I did have to Google it. And of course, usd.edu, their website does have a page for the Middle West Review. And you can follow them on Twitter where they have all types of Midwest facts. It looks like they also work with the University of Nebraska to do some of this information. And even when I did a little looking, you can go to the University of Nebraska and you can buy the Middle West Review, an interdisciplinary journal about the American Midwest. So they have books on this even, all types of books out there. But what I thought was very interesting was what they talked about here, talking about one of their polls, asking people across states in the Midwest and even Midwest adjacent, do you identify as living in the Midwest? And the numbers, I don't think are that surprising. So we'll start in our state. How many people in South Dakota, what percentage do you think identifies living in the Midwest in South Dakota?
Well, what I think to really dig into the nuts and bolts of South Dakota, East River is Midwest.
Yes.
West River are the people that I could think making more of a case for not Midwest, but that's not a 50-50 split of population. I don't know. East River must be 70% of the population or 75. I don't even know. It's a high percentage of the population, but some people in East River might say they're not. Some people West River might say they are. So I'm just going to say the split. So I'm going to say, I would say like 75%. Maybe it's lower. So I'll say 70.
You're way too low.
Okay. Oh, I'm too low. Okay.
Way
that
too
makes me
low.
feel good that it should be high. Okay, good.
So
that's even better then.
According to this survey,
92.2%
92.2% of South Dakotans identify as being in the Midwest.
Well, that's right then. But I could just see the West River people making a case for not Midwest.
To show our bordering states here, or I'll say the other Dakota, North Dakota, 93.8 of North Dakotans identify as being Midwest.
Okay.
South Dakota was 92.2. Nebraska, 92.8 identify as being the Midwest. I'm curious, though, out of all the Midwest, what state do you think has the highest level of identifying as being Midwestern?
Let me think. The highest level of I would think an I state. I would say Iowa. Because what is Iowa if it's not the Midwest?
It's a very
Illinois
good guess.
would be my second best guess. I guess
And
maybe
you are correct. 96.7% of people in Iowa identify as being Midwest, whereas the next closest, Minnesota, 96.5. So it's very close, actually. So those would be the top ones. So I don't think there's any huge surprises there. I feel like maybe the surprise is how many South Dakotans actually identify as Midwest. But
I think there might be some surprise to Eastern Midwesterners because it starts to get to like South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, and they don't think that that's as Midwest, whereas I think of Iowa as the quintessential Midwest.
And I totally agree. So we start looking at the fringe states, though, and these are the areas that are, more in that gray zone. It's harder to identify where do these align. So frequently discussed topic on the Massenomics podcast, Ohio. Do you live in the Midwest? What percent do you think that were polled of Ohioans believe that they're in the Midwest?
Well, what I've heard based on the people that we've had on the podcast and the supporting crew that live in Ohio, if you would have asked me this question before I had all that knowledge, I would have said it had to have been a really low number because it does not feel like the Midwest to me near like this does. But so many of them say that they are from the Midwest, almost just like surprised me, but I understand that now. So I would say maybe it's got to be at least 50, and maybe I'll say 65.
According to this, 78.2% identify as Midwest in Ohio.
Yeah.
So
that seems really high.
They're believing it over there.
Yep.
They also got some very on the outside edge, like Tennessee. 9% of people in Tennessee think they're Midwest.
That's not right. There's not even 9% there that are Midwest. That's not the
30% in Kentucky, 13% in West Virginia.
No.
Eddie brought this one to our attention. Pennsylvania. He said some people thought Pennsylvania was the Midwest. Well, according to this, 9.4% of people think Pennsylvania is the Midwest. And goddamn, you could not be more wrong about thinking that is the Midwest. You only have one state to the east of you.
Yeah.
You can't be
Philadelphia. Philadelphia is in Pennsylvania. Like that is like
you were founded with the country. There's
yes,
no one had to go west to find you. You were there. But when you look at the other side of the range now, they actually have numbers in here for Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, and Colorado. And
first of all, Idaho is not in the Midwest.
Well, 25% of them seem to think they are.
Yeah, that's not right.
That does not, I
they are
totally
mistaken.
agree. Those numbers do not belong in the Midwest one bit.
No.
Huh. Where do you think Wyoming, though? Where do you think they sit? Because I do not think that they are Midwest at all.
They're probably... I guess the biggest takeaway is everyone thinks they're in the Midwest. Like
apparently, yes.
Like everyone thinks they're in the Midwest, so I suppose they're over 50%.
They're at 53%.
Yeah.
And Montana's
not right.
Montana's at 30%. Colorado's at 42%. Colorado is not the Midwest. You have the freaking mountains.
It is in the Rocky
Mountains.
Mountains.
Is known for the mountains. They also have Kansas and Oklahoma on here, and Arkansas as well. And
Kansas out of those is the most close.
Yes,
to
and Kansas has 91% of people, and I can see how they would think that. They do feel a touch south, but yeah, still, we're on the northern end of the Midwest, so sure.
Right.
Oklahoma, 66% of people there think they're in the Midwest, 26% in Arkansas. So, according to this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, roughly 21 states think that they're part of the Midwest in one way or another.
So over half.
Just about half.
But I guess what more than the people that live there thinking they are a part of something makes something a part, like that is probably the truest test of what makes something is if the people all believe it.
If everyone believes it, then it's hard.
Then it
to
is true. Kind of no matter what, then it's true.
That is how a lot of things in the world work. I mean, you could say
even if like we all agree that the color blue is actually now the color red, if everyone agrees it, then it's true.
I mean, the biggest example of this in the world to me is we all agree that money is worth something. It's nothing more than a number with a different a piece of paper with a different number printed on it.
But we all believe it.
The entire world agrees that that is worth something, and that's what makes the world go round. It's literally what makes people get up in the morning, because we all agree that this piece of paper with a number on it is worth something. If we didn't believe that, then the whole system falls apart.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
So I tend to, whatever people say, if Ohio says they're 80-some, they are the Midwest. If that's what the people that live there say, then I agree with that. I can't argue against it, really.
I would say, though, this has been such a long-going topic to a lot of people that follow Massenomics. If you do go to Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and follow the Middle West Review, they just have tons of posts and graphics about this stuff. Kevin would probably love this. They got charts all day.
Is this a USD based publication?
I believe that this is it's not really a publication. It is a journal, or it's what's the technical word for here? It is the Middle West Review it's an interdisciplinary peer reviewed journal.
Okay. Yeah.
So they have people studying this. You were in Canada's top business school.
I know. Now that you
this.
mentioned it, I remember this. I was I was in the editorial team. Yeah. I was in.
So there's our Midwest update for this week. Also, actually, before I forget it, speaking of Canada's top business school, Nathan Fielder has a new show out on Showtime.
Where can he possibly go from here?
This one's scripted, actually. So that's where you go. But from what I hear, it sounds like it's got plenty of awkwardness in it. So I'm going to try. I think it's called The Curse. I'm going to try and watch that one here.
The Curse, a less popular bodybuilder nickname.
Yeah. He's kind of the heel of the situation. No one really likes him.
No, he's the Curse. What about compute?
I had a quick story here. I had ordered. My wife's wanted a computer for a while. She uses mine mostly, which is fine.
She's never had a computer before. She's been begging you for a computer
live a pretty
for like the last 20
old
years.
traditional type of life here. I don't believe women should have access to computers. So got her a smartphone.
Oh, honey, there's
got
things
her a
out there
smartphone
that
this year,
will
and that really opened
rot
up
your brain.
Yeah. You just go back to reading the Midwest Review that I give you. That's what she reads. That's all she gets. But she'd broke her own computer a while ago. She'd been using mine. She'd been wanting a computer for a while at her old place. We were so tight on room. I said, no, when we go here, look at this. I got this vast expanse behind me. There's just room for like computers for days back here. So I said,
you could set up like a really old, like with where a computer takes up an entire room.
Well,
Isn't that kind of funny though? The evolution of computers that, for a while there, like everyone would have to have a computer, but now it's like, well, because everything's a computer, like sometimes you don't, like you'd be like, oh, she just hasn't even had one for a long period of time.
The main reason she needs one is because for work stuff, she has to actually remote into a system. So it's like, I can't really do that on a phone.
Your phone doesn't work, right? Yeah.
And then also the nature of what she's doing. She has a lot of charts and shit up. So having a big screen, like having real estate is helpful. So, and I said, yes, we'll get you a computer. We'll do this when we get to the house, get room. So, go on Apple, and the setup I decided to do, getting her a Mac Mini with a screen. So you have the iMac, but going slightly different route with her. So she has the Mac Mini. It's like this own little aluminum enclosure. It's like this little it's like this little aluminum box. It's probably a 6x6 square, and it's probably 3 inches tall. So it's this little flat aluminum box is what it looks like. And I ordered this thing from Apple. And
then you just plug a monitor.
Yeah, and then you just plug a monitor in, whatever you got. Yeah. So I got all of this other stuff. So yeah, we'll get all this stuff plugged into it. And so you order this thing from Apple, and getting the tracking numbers, all that, says it's delivered. And I go up to our steps to look at it, and I see a package sitting there, and my first thought is, God, I hope a computer's not in there, because if it is in rough shape. I just see this mangled box. I'm thinking, oh, my wife ordered clothes or something, because be in a much better situation. And it was, all I can think of is it the opening scene of Ace Ventura where he's doing the cartwheels and like kicking the box, and like that's what this box looks like. It is just destroyed. And so I pick it up and I look, and sure enough, it is the computer, which isn't the best sign right off the bat. I think, well, they know a computer's in here. They probably have it packaged up pretty good in the box.
Right.
And no, there's no additional packaging. And then Apple's very eco-conscious. So I'm thinking, well, maybe the computer box itself has a little padding. But because Apple's so eco-conscious, their packaging has just slimmed down to just hug. I mean, look at your iPhone when you open that. The box is just millimeters outside the edge of it. And I'm looking at it, and the box is just smashed in. I can see the computer actually poking out through the box, which is kind of amazing because those boxes are hard and rigid.
Right.
And it just keeps getting worse. And then I open it. Yeah, it's got like dents and scuffs and scratches in this aluminum computer. And I'm just like, I'm not even going to bother to plug this damn thing in, because even if it does even if it works, you're like, I'm not keeping this. I'm just assuming everything's just held together by like a thread on the inside, just hanging on. So, the computer showed up, and within an hour I had a return label to send it back. So, I guess even Apple has their off days, apparently.
Who was shipping that thing? Titan Fitness?
Well, the crazy part is, though, the damn things do ship from China. The shipping label does come from China, which is kind of amazing that you order this a week ago and it shows up in a week from China. But someone over there did not get the shipping memo, apparently.
Yeah, you would want to, even if it worked perfectly, you'd be like, this is not.
No, that's what I thought. Well, this thing is pretty heavy duty. There's a chance it's got no scuffs on it. And then I thought, well, even if it had no scuffs, would I really want to take the chances and have this be the one I want to keep? But it was scuffed and damaged.
Yeah, I think the one I have here, it's a refurbished one, technically, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Apple's refurbishes. Most people, if you're ever thinking about buying Apple computer stuff, unless you're like a major power user, even then, Apple's refurbish is so good, because a lot of times you're saving anywhere between $100 and $400. And You get like
Well,
their
this
full,
case I can say is good.
yeah, you get their full regular year warranty that they give with everything else. So like your warranty isn't any shorter. I think on most of their devices, if it's refurbished, they usually replace the whole external enclosure. So I don't know in the case of an iMac if they're replacing the entire screen and everything, but on a lot of devices they do. They take the guts out of the machine and they'll put in a new thing. So yeah, it's a pretty solid deal. It's definitely worth looking at if you're trying to save some money on Apple products.
Yeah. All right. Should I tell everyone about Juggernaut AI if they don't know already?
I think you should.
If you don't know, you're about to. Juggernaut AI has individualized programming made specifically for your goals. Juggernaut AI uses the feedback that you put into it to create a program specifically for your needs. Their system finds the right amount of work you need, capacity, develops this optimal training frequency and periodization style that's personalized to you and your exercises, specifically target your weak points. So kind of the way it does that is you're putting in information when you start out with your program, and then before each workout, during each workout, after each training cycle, you're inputting additional information, rating things based on RPE, stuff like that. And if you've never done RPE before, if that's something you're worried about, I would not worry about that at all. You get started on it, you going it, and it doesn't matter if you're finding the perfect RPE rate. This is a point I would make. It doesn't matter if it's really an 8 or if it's really an 8.5. Just start inputting the information. Go with your best leading on that. You'll start to develop maybe a better feel for that as you go.
A sixth
really,
sense, you could say.
Yeah, you start to develop the 6 Juggernaut AI sense.
It's like Bruce Willis is right there with you.
And it's like, oh, I was on Juggernaut AI the entire time. But really, like my point is there, that doesn't, like some of that half RPE here or there, that's not the point. The point is the overall rating, like over the grand scheme of things, how they add up. So just get started, give it a try. It really starts to make a lot of sense as you get going. And that's if you just have any worries about that part of it. Best part, though, my absolute favorite part about Juggernaut AI is their discount code. It's Massenomics. That's the only discount they have or have ever had. So do not
or
trust
will
anyone
ever
else.
have
Yes.
ever.
If you've ever heard anyone else advertise their code, do not believe them. Use Massenomics.
It's just a
It's the
ploy.
only one. Yes. To go to juggernautai.app, you got to sign up through the web browser, not through the app. Through the web browser, that's where you can use discount code Massenomics, save 10%. Thank you, Juggernaut AI.
You know what they say? Don't major in the minors.
That's exactly right. That's what I've always said.
I just think of Tanner. He always says that. Always. Like that doesn't even apply right now, Tanner, but whatever, man.
What do you mean? Why? What?
It's like a Michael Scott thing. You're just at work and you just stand up. Don't major in the minors. Tanner, that does not apply here, but okay. This episode is also brought to you by SwissLink. In 1995, Maurice Big Mo Huffman founded SwissLink with the mission to bring authentic Swiss Army goods to the United States and into the hands of those yearning for quality gear at uncompromised prices. Now, for nearly 3 decades, Big Mo has been traveling far and wide in search of the best items from military forces around the world. Big Mo doesn't only find authentic military clothing for SwissLink, he brings in everything you can imagine from Swiss bayonets to Czech microscopes. SwissLink.com is also home to the SwissLink Classic Wool Blankets. They're an ideal mix of 80% wool and 20% recycled fibers. It's that special blend that provides a soft, luxurious feel while maintaining all the benefits of wool. Wish you could wear your blankets around all the time? Well, now you can with the SwissLink Classic Wool Pants. That's right, wool pants. SwissLink's exceptional collection and dedication to quality customer service distinguishes them from the rest. Enjoy a 15% discount on your next purchase at SwissLink.com by entering code MASS at checkout. That's MASS to save 15% at SwissLink.com. Thank you, SwissLink.
Thanks, SwissLink. Oh, anything else we need to cover this week, or do we bring her on down from start declimbing from that 10,000 foot mark?
Start descending into the heart of the Midwest. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's probably everything.
All right. I'm feeling down to about 5,000 foot now. So at the 5,000 foot level, that's where I'd tell you to check out Massenomics.com, our shop. It's where we have all of our tees. We've got hoodies there. We've got zip up camo windbreakers that I love. I wear and love. I've been wearing it all week. It's been really good camo windbreaker weather for me. Like all the last couple of weeks, it's like I don't know, been like 40s, 50s. It's kind of like perfect Massenomics windbreaker weather, in my opinion. But then again, I'm not a big coat babysitter, but I will take a camo windbreaker around with me because you can fold that thing up and stuff it in your jeans pocket if you want to.
Damn near disappears.
It's like those Swiss Link. It's made out of the same material as those Swiss
It
Link.
expands to 300 times its original size.
Yeah, it actually folds up into like that little
postage
jeans
stamp.
pocket.
Yeah, it goes in your coin pocket of your jeans.
Is that what that pocket is called?
I think that's what the pocket is called. Yeah, it's the coin pocket.
Have you ever put a coin in one of those?
No, I don't believe in using that pocket.
Has anyone ever used that pocket for anything ever?
I don't
even know if a quarter would fit in one of those pockets.
Definitely not a silver dollar. You didn't put no silver dollar in that thing.
No. Not a $2 bill either, though. You see those things
skyrocketing?
skyrocketing?
Yeah, we might have just unknowingly sent out a lottery to our
Yeah, that reminds me. We need all those $2 bills back.
Yeah, that was
sent everyone.
I kind of need those, so that was just sort of a joke.
A clerical error. Can you send those back?
If you were one of the many people that received a 2 from us, just send that
We're
back.
We're going to
be
needing those back.
Yeah, we can't cover postage either, so please send those our way.
Yes. Become a sporting member. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Please leave us a 5-star review. Check out our YouTube. Make sure you're subscribing to our YouTube channel. We've been putting out a new extra YouTube video like every single week. No exception. There's knee sleeve one this week. Check out the knee sleeve video. It's sure to ruffle some feathers.
Ruffle some knees, maybe even.
Ruffle some knees. What was the week before? Oh, the NFL.
Yeah.
Strongest players in the NFL. Check out the strongest players in the NFL video. I haven't talked about either of those. So please subscribe and check it out. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird, but just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See you.